I'm Richard Porter.
I'm Jonny Smith.
And this is Smith and Sniff on the other side of things, in which we answer questions from a live audience. Here we are.
Thanks for coming. And
in Manchester again.
Now, for the benefit of the people that aren't in the room, you might hear a couple of flutes. I don't mean the people asking questions. Yeah, I mean, there's some edible
flutes were given out, and there's a slight primary school vibe now in the room. So
they're actually called melody pops, but it says, have talent, make it pop. I don't believe that for a second.
Melody pops does sound like a child's entertainer.
Yeah, it does.
She gets disgraced because it turns out she doesn't treat animals properly or something like that.
I've got a question from somebody. Can I just start with this? Is this okay?
Yeah.
Dear Smith and Sniff, what's the shittest Lego kit that you've ever seen for sale? Thanks, Mr. J. Smith. Well, I decided to look that up. There's a top 10 of worst Lego sets available. And at number 9, the Ultimate Spider-Man Spider-Trike versus Electro kit is a strong contender, it says.
Why so bad?
Well, can I quickly read a description about it?
Yes.
Brickstar, I presume that's a Lego fanatic website,
so, yeah.
Summed it up pretty concisely. This Spider-Trike is just one of the dorkiest vehicles I've ever seen. The weird sticks jutting from the back look pretty incomplete and broken. And even from a purely visual standpoint, this thing's colours look garish and awful. In my mind, this seems more like a farm tractor than a spider-trike. Reviews also mentioned it was very flimsy and fragile. Plus, Spider-Man keeps falling out of the stupid trike because there's no plate to hold him in. The only real plus I could find in this set was Electro, who had a fairly unique and interesting design for a minifigure with translucent arms. And the strange lightning board he stands on. The Spider-Trike, on the other hand, is flimsy, simple, awkward, unwieldy, and deeply embarrassing to our friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man. The end.
I don't think I'd like translucent arms.
I don't see
keep
that
shutting doors on them and things, wouldn't they? Sorry, I didn't see them there.
Awful. I don't want translucent arms.
No. All right. Has anybody got a question that's not going to torpedo our chances of Lego sponsorship? Chap down the front here, right out of the blocks.
So basically, what's the strangest experience you've had when you've been selling a car to somebody? Because for context, I was just selling the Metro, very nice example, but we just sold it. Kept getting a number from abroad for ages. Thought it was a scam, so didn't answer. When I finally answered, it was some American guy from Tennessee who wanted to buy the car, wired me the money 2 days later, sent the pickup up and picked it up.
What?
And then, yeah. And then about 6 weeks later, rang me again and said, does it run all right? Because I'm driving it 500 miles from the port back home. And then sent me a picture of it next to a massive pickup truck in a car park somewhere in America.
Well, that's...
You've baited the water here, my friend. What kind of Metro?
Just a Quest. But yeah, it did like 10,000 miles, but and he just rang up about it, and I said, yeah, it's great, and he was like, yep, no worries, didn't negotiate nothing, just wired me the full price, and then sent someone to pick it up, and then, just went.
I worry that he saw Metro Quest and thought he was buying some kind of wizardy board game or something. What? It's a small British car.
I have had a couple of strange instances, and probably more than I can remember immediately. But one of them was when I was selling my Ford Granada lowrider. I had a bloke who kept phoning me and asking, A, if it was for sale. And I was like, yes, it's for sale. And then he'd say, would you take this amount, which was not an offensive or near offer. So I said, yeah, I would accept that. And then he'd go, okay, I'm going to arrange to come and see it. And he would keep cancelling. And then eventually he admitted to me that he didn't have any money. But he did have a Ford Sierra Sport that was immaculate, and would I swap it? And I went, no, thanks, but I'm not interested in a Sierra Sport. And he just kept asking if I'd swap it for the Sierra Sport. This happened about 6 phone calls. In the end, I just had to tell him to fuck off. So there was that guy, Sierra Sport guy. And then there was another instance, a very strange one. I'm just trying to remember. Oh, I know what it was. I sold a lady a Mercedes that ran on chip fat, and she was from Glastonbury, and she turned up and she definitely was from Glastonbury. And then about a year after I sold her the car, I had this phone number that I didn't recognise come through, and she said, "Hi, it's so-and-so. I bought your Mercedes that runs on chip fat." I went, "Oh, yeah. Hi." She went, "Yeah. Don't suppose you've got a spare key for it, have you?" And I went, "No, I'm pretty sure I gave you the only key that I have." He goes, "Yeah, it's just that I've lost the key in Dubai." "Okay, I'm really sorry to hear that. I just can't help you." She went, "Oh, okay, I just thought I'd check. All right, bye." And that was it.
Dubai?
In Dubai.
But a woman from Glastonbury who buys a old Merc that runs on chip fat, are you sure she didn't say, "I've lost the key and I'm high"?
Well,
Just a thought.
there was a lot of tie-dye.
I don't think I've had one with selling a car, but I had a slightly weird one that's sort of related, which is I used to have a Vauxhall VXR8 as a long-term test car from Evo. And I had it, I think, about 6 months, and then it went back to Vauxhall, and then, they just tied it up and put it through the auctions, and it goes to a dealer. And I got an email from this guy a long time after I'd sold it, and he said, "Hi, I gather you used to have this VXR8 registration." Yeah, I did. And he went, "So can I just ask you a few questions about it?" I wrote back, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love that car. Yeah, go fire away. And he went, "So yeah, I gather in your time on it, you had an approved louder exhaust put on it." Yeah. And he was asking me loads of questions about where I got that done and all this stuff. And then he emailed again. And he went, did you take the car on track very much when you had it?" I took it once on track, only very briefly, and I didn't rag it particularly, and it was all just for a feature. Okay, yeah. And they wrote back and he had loads more questions. Did you smoke in it? Did you have kids in it? Did you have animals in it? Did you use a lot of revs before the oil had warmed up?
What?
I went, "Do you know what? No, I've got a lot of mechanical sympathy, and that car's got an oil temp gauge, so it's perfect for knowing that you are treating the engine with respect." I treated that car like it was my own, even though it was only a temporary loan. I promise you, I love that car. I tried to buy it when it was going back. I did not mistreat it anyway. It's a great car. How are you getting on with it? And he went, "Oh, I've sold it." Why are you asking me these questions then?
I don't understand.
It's the most baffling. Like, if you sold it in the time it's taken us to have an email exchange, he sold it ages ago, and I couldn't figure out. The only thing I could think is that maybe the person he'd sold it to had come back to him and gone, "It's broken, it's your fault," and he was trying to find someone else to blame. That's all I can think it could be, but it was really weird.
I hope he wasn't wanking while he was emailing you.
No, but I was doing it while I was replying, so it's fine.
Cancel it out.
Anyone got another question? I'm going to come in.
Can you take the flutes with you?
No.
Edible flutes.
Thank you. Mainly a question for Jonny. Sorry, Richard. You were there as well, so you could have put. A few years ago, Jonny, you did some of those amazing Late Break Show live events. One of which I still call it the GMEX, actually.
Oh yeah, the GMEX. We'll talk about it today.
Yeah. Question is, obviously they're a massive undertaking to organise, but it was really well attended. Some great, interesting cars there. Manufacturers were there. In fact, it was actually the first time I sat in an Alpine A110, which I ended up buying.
Did you?
Yeah.
Please tell Alpine that. That'd be nice.
Yeah. Are they profitable for a business to run?
No.
And will you do them again? Basically.
No, they're not profitable.
No,
at
I
all.
didn't think so. But
They are one of the most stressful things I've ever done.
yeah, but it was a brilliant event.
Well, thank you very much. That was probably my favourite one.
Yeah.
They're really good fun to do. I just can't see me ever putting them on again unless I piggyback on an existing event, really.
Sure. Yeah.
I'd love to. I really would love to.
Hugely.
Or we do something like that, you know. But they're just an absolute cluster.
Yeah, sure.
They're a massive... Even people that have been doing shows for ages and they're a well-oiled machine, even they struggle to make money sometimes. Especially in a country where the weather's just a roulette wheel. So, but thank you. Thanks for coming. I appreciate that.
That Manchester show was really good fun.
I love that show.
Also,
I never got to see the downstairs, though, of the show. There was
Was there a downstairs?
Yeah, there was like the caverns underneath.
There's a car park.
We did a deal with the NCP and we rented it all. Supposed to have been really good, but I didn't see it. So yeah. I didn't even get to go to the toilet, basically. So yeah.
Who's got a question?
Do you want a flute, by the way?
Over. Oh, there's a handgun up there.
Flute. Yeah.
Smith and Sniff have actually caused me a massive problem in my career right now. So I've worked for an automotive supplier for over a decade now. I've been responsible for Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo. I'm in the process of being handed the reins to another OEM. But because of Smith & Sniff, I can't actually say that OEM's name properly. So this is causing some concern about when we're going to have meetings and things like that, when we have to talk about the certain Essex-based motor company. Is there any sort of therapy that Smith & Sniff can offer to allow me to say the name properly, because I can't actually say Folds?
Hang on, this is your new job?
Yeah. So I'm either going to get fired or I need to stop listening to Smith & Sniff. Neither one is preferable.
I'm really sorry to hear that. I'm also not that sorry, obviously.
We've broken someone's brain.
What should we do?
Well, I think every time you have to say the name of the Essex-based motor company, picture something else that uses that word that you would not say Fords about, e.g. Harrison Ford. Doesn't sound right. You say Harrison Ford. Anna Ford, the newsreader, not right. It's Anna Ford. So every time you've got to say it, picture Anna Ford, the very demure news person. And
Driving
that maybe
through a
will
Ford.
cleanse your mind.
Yeah.
Driving through a Ford.
Folds.
Yeah. No, you see, no. Now I'm in my head, I'm going, Harrison Ford. Sorry. Now I've broken my own brain. Fuck.
Just go with FOMOCO. It makes you sound more pro. Like you've been in the game a long time. FOMOCO. It's great as well. It looks great written down. FOMOCO.
FOMOCO.
Love it. And that's not, you wouldn't say it if you were.
But that also, FOMO means fear of missing out, doesn't it?
Yeah. So it's the fear of missing out company. Isn't it? It's great.
Yeah. Hey, it's Vauxhall. We're having a party. No, I don't want to come. Peugeot's here and Renault. No, staying in tonight.
We're all right, thanks, mate. Yeah.
Washing me hair. I'm going to go up towards the back and see if there's another question.
Do you want an edible?
No, not.
Oh, you got one. That's fine.
Has anybody around the back got
Me.
an question? Oh, sorry.
I'll save one. I'll put it in my
Around.
pocket.
How am I going to get to you without throwing the microphone? Well, no, this is a logistical challenge. Hi, everyone. Excuse me.
You picked the most difficult person to find, apparently. This one's mainly based on Jonny because of his various antics. I've had an incident of my own, which is in the act of finding a excellent piss vista. Have you ever got yourself into trouble or made a bit of an arse of yourself? Because I have very much so.
Oh, yeah. I've had to walk away. It's not easy, as you know.
I'd say you got a flighter than I did, where an incident in North Scotland at about 6:30 in the morning and a ditch occurred, and I then spent the next 3 hours looking for my car keys.
No.
I tried to find a discreet but rather wonderful place to go and have a wild wee, and whilst stepping into what I thought was some grass, fell into a ditch and my car keys flew out my pocket about 20 feet away. And then spent the next 3.5 hours either trying to get a recovery truck and breaking into my own car because that's where my phone was located, and finding my car keys.
Oh, shit, that was not a good piss.
Thanks for that. You gave me a great idea, and then it went really badly.
I'm so sorry.
It feels like this has started to become the things we want to blame Smith & Sniff for hour, which is fair enough. I completely sympathise.
Oh, gosh. Has it put you off the notion of piss fisting?
Oh, Jesus.
Or...
Stage looks good from back here, John. I might stay back here.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, it's good.
Appreciate it.
Banners are good, yeah. Has anybody sort of around here got... Oh, there's a question. All right.
I did a great piss on the way to Goodwood a couple of years ago. Carry on. Yeah.
What's it like being you, Rich? Well, what happens is I'm about to say something and Jonny goes, I had a great piss.
Sorry.
What was on the Smith & Sniff rider?
Well, so some B-side rough Yellowbird driving shoes. They're always, just in case. We don't normally wear them, we just have them like display. Honda Prelude Haynes manual, which I found in a recent barn find. I'll read a bit of that later. What else is in the rider?
Well, yeah, but the rider isn't things you bring from home.
Isn't it? Can you not?
No, I don't think Bon Jovi go, oh, better load up the Transit
Yeah,
with
they
all
go.
of the wine and beer we want in our dressing room. I think they asked the promoter to put it there for them.
I
So
brought 2 apples with me.
again, that's stuff you've brought. We don't have a rider. I don't think we've ever had a rider. Have we?
I don't think we have.
Did we not ask for something really stupid once as a joke and then someone actually did it? But I can't remember what it was.
Sometimes we ask if there's wine on the premises. Is that a rider? I suppose it is.
That's
sort
a
of
bit more of a
Yeah,
rider.
that is a bit of a...
Oh, yeah, because when we did the shows in London, we asked if they could get us a couple of bottles of beer before we went and hid in a cupboard, which is what we have to do before we come on stage.
That's true.
Because the only way to sort of get into the room in a kind of ta-da way is to go and basically hide in a cupboard.
We hid in a cupboard with some ladders.
Yes.
Just after ladders.
But with 2 beers. Not
Yes.
stupid.
Yes. Yeah. We're going to ramp up the rider thing.
I think we should.
I'm thinking K cars,
Yeah.
1 each, 1 for each foot.
I
Edible flutes every time.
for some reason, when I hear Ryder, I now think of Sam Ryder.
Yeah, I think of Sam
But
Ryder.
I always confuse Sam Ryder and Sam Fender. Sort of need like a Harry Hill
one's-
system for them, but I don't know
One's
what it
got
is.
90s hair and
Yeah.
one Eurovision. In fact,
Yes.
it's been the only interesting part of Eurovision since ABBA.
With that Spaceman song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so yeah, there we go.
But the Sam Fender is sort of much more credible, kind of serious musician.
He's like Northeast's answer to Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah. But I hear like on Six Music or somewhere on Radio 1, they'll be going, the great things, we've got Sam Fender coming in later on. I always think, off Eurovision, great. And then it's this Geordie guy being serious. And you go,
Yeah, they're different, very different characters.
Yeah. Anyway, another question from anybody? Oh, saw a hand go up there like lightning.
Thank you very much. Obviously, you both do a lot of driving, I'm assuming. I know you do.
I
Johnny,
do.
Up and down
I can't
the
speak for him.
country.
But yeah.
I would imagine it's quite self-indulgent of you to listen to your own podcast. So,
Yeah.
so I was wondering.
Do you want?
I was wondering, what other podcasts do you like to listen to when you're on the road doing some helms work?
Okay, so I never listen to our podcast back. He does. It's shit, isn't it? I know it's... I've heard this. I've heard it's disappointing, definitely not funny. Yeah, so I never listened to it again. I've probably listened in the whole time we've done this, probably 3 full podcasts that we've done.
I remember once I was talking to you and you went, oh, I listened to our podcast yesterday.
Yeah.
It was all right.
Yeah.
But the tone of surprise was concerning.
Genuinely, so I don't. But I listen to, lately, I've completely gone off listening to music and gone straight onto the spoken word. I listen to, not Pointless, what's it called? Smartless. I listen to Smartless quite a lot. I'm really into UFO podcasts. Some of them are crap and some of them are really credible. So I've been kind of like weather vaning between those two. What else have I been listening to? Oh, the one with Kirsty Young in it, Young Again. Is it called Young Again?
I don't know that
It's
one.
really good. She interviews people about what they would tell their selves, you know, when they were kids.
Do you think they had the idea for the podcast and then had to try and find
Yeah.
someone? They went, right.
Yeah.
We've tried Angus Young out of AC/DC and Mrs. Young, the nice lady who used to live across the road from me when I was growing up.
Jimmy Young, but he's...
Jimmy Young, he's dead.
Yeah.
Young Blood, not quite the vibe we're going for.
Hey guys, Young Blood here.
Oh, Kirsty Young's free. Thank God for that.
Kirsty Young.
Yeah.
But you know, and I don't mean this in a nasty way. I don't listen to any car podcasts because I have full saturation of the car world. You know, I do bloody YouTube and I do this and it's all cars. So actually I sometimes want to just go the other way and, you know, watch tutorials about building ponds, even though I've never built a pond. So it's not that I don't think they're good, it's just I don't really want to hear them very much. It sounds pretty bad.
I do listen to our podcast because I have to, because I go back through it and kind of just tidy up the audio. And then once I've done that, to make sure I haven't fucked up the settings, which I did last week, and it's a good job I checked, I'd accidentally made you really quiet. And I was walking the dog listening to it back and going, where's Jonny? Why is he just standing in the next room? And I realised I put a fader down that I shouldn't have put down too far.
I've got quite a quiet voice.
Yeah, well, that's it. So I tweak the levels just to try and make it sound the same. Anyway, so I do that, but then I have to listen to it again then to what I call my quality control pass, which I once mentioned to my wife. She went, are you listening to yourself? And I said, yes, I have to, for quality reasons. And she went, huh. Which says a lot. But yeah, I listen to quite a lot of car podcasts because, unlike Jonny, clearly I somehow have an unquenchable need to listen to things about cars, which I know is strange. But also just, know what other people are doing and how much they're making us look bad. So I listen to the Otosot podcast. I think that's really, really good. Steve and Matt, just two really, really affable blokes, really good knowledge about cars. They're not trying to be clever or funny. They're just, they are clever, but they're not trying to be smart asses. They're just solid blokes doing a really, really good job of talking about cars. I listen to the Intercooler podcast, same sort of thing. Andrew Frankel and Dan Prosser, just, again, they know their stuff. They don't try to be funny like us. They just talk knowledgeably about cars.
Worth it.
Chris Harris's podcast, obviously, is a big one, and I love that. I enjoy hearing millionaires debating the best Porsche headrests for an hour of low-quality audio mixing for some reason. And what else do I listen to? I listen to a lot of them. Some intermittently, some all the time. Smoking Tire is good. Matt does a really great job, and they have some really good guests on there. What else? I occasionally dip into Auto Alex if I want to lower my IQ a little bit. What else? There are. There's loads. As you probably know, there are lots and lots of good ones. We should probably ask your recommendations. But I think, joke aside, I'm only having a pop at the ones that are probably a bit more successful than us. But I think the great thing about the car podcast universe is there's an awful lot out there, and you'll find something that fits the bill for you. But also, you don't have to pick and choose. It's like if you spend a lot of time in the car or walking the dog or whatever it is, you can enjoy all of them sort of on a weekly basis. So. Honestly, I do, because I think, I know I was taking the piss, but I think that like Chris Harris and his mates, particularly Neil Clifford on there, is an amazing man and a very funny man. And so I enjoy listening to that. And I do think that...
I had a curry with him last week.
You never?
I did.
You didn't tell me that?
I know I didn't.
You bastard. Where was my invitation?
Yeah, it was after a shoot that I was doing with a mutual friend. Went for a curry. It was great.
Well, anyway, no, I think Chris Harris' podcast really good, and Alex and his mates have got very good chemistry as well. There's very few car podcasts where I actually listen and go, oh, this is dog shit. There are a couple. I'll tell you about them later, but obviously one of them is ours. But I think generally, the standard is very high, and whatever you're looking for, you will find it. And if anyone's got recommendations, do let me know. And does anyone else have a question? Oh, there's one down here.
So, guys. Hypothetically, here's the situation, yeah? So you got a weekend. Day 1, you go in green laning. Day 2, you've got a track day just for you. No one else.
Nice.
You're given 2 cars to do both of these 2 days, 2 separate cars. Only catch is they have to have the same badge on the bonnet, same manufacturer.
Ooh,
okay.
That's a good question.
It is a very good question. And do you know what? I was only fantasizing about green laning this week because I'm such a man about town.
I'm going to save the bother of having 2 cars and just take a Mark 1 Freelander and see where the world takes me. To the garage, probably. No, I don't know.
So you could go Porsche and go Dakar, and then any 911 Cayman, whatever for the track. It's predictable, but that would be fun.
Yeah.
I actually thought about: are they allowed to be modified in any way? Let's just say they are.
So
I'm going to go Lada.
Oh.
Green laning in a Niva. I've done it. It's just sweet experience because it fits and doesn't break down.
Yeah.
Secondly, I'd take a modified Niva on the track, Reaver on the track, with some sprinkling of Lotus.
That thing we did on Top Gear years ago,
which I thought was amazing.
Yeah, it really was.
I don't know if that car still exists.
Oh, that's a good question because the guy sold it, and I don't know if it's ended up somewhere.
Did he text the guy that he sold after he sold it to the person he bought it from to ask him whether they looked after
Loads of questions about it. Yeah.
Because I would.
Have you seen, there was a thing on Piston Heads ages ago. I think they were JLR engineers, had bought an old L322 Range Rover, like I used to have, but the sort of earlier 4.2 supercharged one, and turned it into a track car.
Really?
Because they knew how to hack into the brain of the air suspension, so they could make it sit in access mode the whole time, even when it was ragging around Silverstone. And they'd stripped it and caged it and done all sorts to it. So I'm tempted to go old school Defender for the green laning and track prepped L322 for a bit of track work.
Would you bobtail it?
Bobtail which one? All of them.
The circuit car.
Yes, I might do.
For weight saving.
Yeah. Or cabrio it. Oh, they're a monocoque, aren't they?
Speedster.
Yes.
Range Rover Speedster. Nobody ever wanted that.
4-door Speedster.
Yeah.
How about that? Also, when you first asked that question, though, the first thing that popped into my mind, I don't know why, was Suzuki. Because you could go green laning in a Jimny and then take a Swift Spout on the track, and you'd probably have a lovely old time with that. So, yeah.
Or an Alto Works.
Or an Alto Works. Particularly if it was a small track, like a go-kart track or a Lego track or something.
Let's say
or Cadwell Park.
The track budget's low, yeah? So it has to be very tight, technical.
Alto Works.
Alto Works.
Probably have a hilarious time.
It's got it's got a face like those 90s sunglasses. Yes. They look great. I love them.
Okay, I'm going to say Suzuki or my silly Land Rover, but I like yours as well.
Yeah.
Has anyone else got a question? Oh, hang on, I'm going to come to you and then you.
Short and sweet, this one. Favourite Top Gear car of the custom ones they made?
Ooh.
That's a good one.
I always had a soft spot for the convertible Espace. Just because, superficially at least, it was quite a good idea. I think it was the execution that let it down, but it wasn't a bad idea per se. And it has one of my all-time favourites, Richard Hammond ad-libs in it, which is simply "attack monkey" when they're in the safari park. I think it might be attack monkey, but it makes me laugh out loud, that.
I'm trying to, because there's been a lot.
Yeah.
I always forget how many there are. I really enjoyed the amphibious cars, because James May had the Herald with a sail.
Yeah.
And didn't Jeremy have a Hilux with like 3 outboards?
He had a Hilux and then he switched it to a Nissan because we found out that the pickup bed was very, very fractionally deeper. And this seemed like a good thing. Slightly more resistance to the water coming over the side. I mean, we're talking like millimetres, which it turns out the English Channel's not interested in millimetres. The English Channel doesn't deal in millimetres.
No,
so.
It doesn't. I think so. It's either the pickup speedboat or the Citroen CX.
Oh, yeah.
Grand Design CX thing, which looked so sketchy.
Yeah, it was really sketchy. I mean, genuinely, that was... Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
It's quite sketchy. All right, well, that's probably enough questions for now, but we'll do this all again next week. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.